The man was preparing to celebrate with his wife when he suddenly realized there was a third person in the house. A shadow quickly darted out and rushed into the bathroom. The man instinctively shielded his wife, a wave of tension rising in him. He moved cautiously towards the bathroom, his steps light, eyes locked on the door, listening intently for any sound. He could hear footsteps behind the door, breaking the stillness of the room. When he pushed the bathroom door open, he was shocked by what he saw. Inside stood a man, shirtless, with an expression filled with anger and unease. His eyes were glazed, full of madness. The man recognized him. This was his patient from years ago, Vincent. Vincent had been isolated since childhood. His parents divorced, and he had grown reclusive, avoiding social contact. After enduring years of abuse from his father, his personality twisted, and his mental state deteriorated. He began experiencing hallucinations of dead people, unable to distinguish between illusion and reality. The man had diagnosed him with schizophrenia, and recommended hospitalization for treatment. However, over time, Vincent's condition didn't improve. Instead, the torment of his hallucinations drove him to the brink of collapse. Anger and despair filled Vincent's eyes as he turned to the man. He whispered that all of his suffering was the man's fault, blaming him for his current state. He felt that the hope and treatment the man had offered were now nothing more than a cruel reminder of his suffering. Vincent's voice grew sharper, the anger pushing him closer to the edge of insanity. Suddenly, Vincent grabbed a handgun from the table and aimed it at the man. The man didn't have time to react before Vincent pulled the trigger. The sharp sound of the gunshot shattered the silence. The man immediately shielded his wife with his body. Terrified, his wife rushed toward him, but froze in shock at the sudden danger. The man's heart raced, and he felt the warmth of his wife's hand. In that moment, he realized he had to protect her at all costs. But the situation was more complicated than he had imagined. Since the incident a year ago, the man and his wife had barely communicated. The gap between them had deepened, and their silence and coldness had become routine. After work, he retreated to the basement, as if it had become his only refuge. His neglect and indifference toward his wife had become habitual. Today was their 5th wedding anniversary. Though the man was late due to work, he hoped to make up for it with this dinner. But his wife's silence only made him more anxious. He thought she was just upset, unaware that the truth was far beyond what he could bear.